What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brent and welcome to the first Tutorial Tuesday. This is where I'm going to be taking one lighting setup each Tuesday and breaking it down super efficiently and very quickly so that you all can take this and implement it into your next set. I have Emily in the studio with me today. We are going to be going over cross lighting. Let's get right into the content. Now for cross lighting, this is going to be a 2-light setup, and I'm going to show you 2 different ways that I like to use this particular lighting setup. But my key light is always going to be in the Rembrandt position, and to start off, I'm going to be using a 7-foot umbrella, and I am going to be using it with diffusion. This is going to be in the Rembrandt position pointing at Emily. I have it on her left side, which means that the shadows are going to be on her right. My camera settings are going to be f5.6. I'm going to be shooting at an ISO of 100, and my shutter speed is going to be 1/250th. So this is the first light that I am always going to put in place whenever I am using cross lighting. My second light for this cross lighting setup, and this one is going to remain the same for both variations, is going to be another 600 watt light with a gridded strip box. I prefer a gridded strip box because I do not want a ton of light splashing onto my background. I really want to focus it on my model, and I have this literally across from my key light. So if your key light was to be on the right side of your model, you would have your edge/fill light on the left back side of your model. But in my case, for Emily, I have my second light on the right back side of her, and I'm kind of aiming it toward like her mid back to shoulder. I want the wrap to kind of come around the front, and it kind of creates this nice little highlight on the right side of her face. And then when she kind of turns, it gives a nice little effect there. So this light is going to be metered at f4. Typically when I do my cross lighting setup, I like to have a 2-to-1 ratio. So f5.6 for my key and then f4 for my fill. These are the 2 lights that I'm going to be using for the demonstrations. All right, so for the first set of demonstration images, I'm just going to give you a baseline of where we're starting. So I am only going to be shooting with my A light on, which is my Rembrandt key light. And I'm just going to take a few shots here just so you can see what this light is doing by itself. I am using my Tamron 90mm. So Em, you can look straight at me. 3, 2. Another one here. 3, 2. Nice. And then I'm going to do a full body just to kind of get a check on that. Nice. Yep. 3, 2. One more here, 3, 2. And as you all can see, with the Rembrandt lighting, it's always going to give you a super nice set of light, but we are still going to have that shadow on her right-hand side. And with me using the large 7-foot umbrella, we are getting quite a bit of spill onto our backdrop, and it is covering her feet pretty well. But now we're going to kind of try to get into what this second light is doing and why we add it into our setup. I now have both my A and my B light on. So we have the Rembrandt key light, and then we also have our cross light that is going to be illuminating her shoulder/mid back area. And again, this is a 2-to-1 ratio. So 5.6 we are metered at, and then we are metered at f4. So let's get the same few test shots. I'm going to start with my mediums. All right, looking straight at me. 3, 2. Nice. 3, 2. Go wide here. 3, 2. One more here. 3, 2. And the first thing that you are immediately going to notice, you are going to start to see that right side of her face, that shoulder area really start to get illuminated. And what this does is it starts to bring her off of the backdrop. And this setup specifically with the 7-foot umbrella and the strip box is where I love to start with, honestly, a majority of my clients, because a lot of clients will come in thinking that they want a super high key look, but with this, you can kind of add in a little bit of contrast. So what I'm going to do really quickly, I'm going to take my B light down 1 stop. So let's just take it down 1 stop, and then I'm going to take another couple shots just so you can see what it would look like with a 4-to-1 ratio instead of a 2-to-1. So Em, you're going to look straight at me. 3, 2. Nice. 3, 2. Let me go for the wide. 3, 2. 3, 2. And you're going to want to use this depending on what vibe it is that you're going for, right? So in Emily's case, she does have on a white shirt. And sometimes if you go too hard with your edge light on a white shirt, it can start to blur it out. So that's where you want to kind of play with your levels. But this lighting setup right here, super easy to set up, can be done with multiple different modifiers, but there is one more way that I like to use it, and I want to show you that really quickly. Now, for the second part of this video, the only switch that I'm going to be making is using a smaller modifier. And for the sake of this video, to keep things apples to apples, I'm gonna go umbrella versus umbrella. So we went from the 7-foot umbrella with diffusion to now we're gonna be using a 41-inch umbrella with diffusion. And what I'm gonna do here that's a little bit different from the last setup, I'm actually gonna be feathering this a little bit away from our backdrop. I'm going to try and bring Emily a little bit forward from that backdrop, keeping my B-light the same, but I'm going to move it forward as well. So I'm taking my whole set and moving it away from my backdrop. And this is what I like to call the dramatic cross lighting, when I want something that has a little more shadow definition in the background and really try to increase that drama for some very specific, more creative reasons. So keeping the exact same formula, f5.6 here, and I'm actually going to be f2.8 on my background light because I do want it to be a 4:1 ratio and get us a nice dramatic cross. So let's see what these look like for the example images. All right, so let's again start with just our A light on, just so you can see exactly what happens immediately by switching out the modifier. So just gonna have my A light on, again, metered to 5.6, still using my Tamron 90. Emily looking straight at me, 3, 2, good, 3, 2. Nice, one more here. And then I'm gonna do a few wides just to kind of super illustrate what we have going on. Yep, right there's perfect. 3, 2, good, one more, 3, 2. You are immediately going to notice that our background has become a lot darker. And that is because we switched out our modifier, so I'm not getting quite as much spill. I'm feathering it away. And this is an umbrella. So umbrellas are very widespread light sources, right? Those modifiers really allow a lot of light to spread. If I were to use a softbox, a really small one with a grid, I could get even more drama. But again, we're keeping it apples to apples. So this is what it looks like when you simply shrink down that modifier, feather it away, and kind of bring your subject off of the background a little bit. Now we're gonna add in our B-light to really bring this thing together, wrap it all up, and show you what the dramatic cross can really do. So we've now brought in the B-light, and the biggest thing that I want the B-light to do here is just, again, give me that little bit of separation from the background, a little more illumination, and I am keeping it 4:1 because this is supposed to be dramatic. So here we go. Gonna start with the medium shots. Looking straight at me, 3, 2, nice. 2. One more here, 2. Do a few wides just so we can see exactly what's going on. 2, 2, one more here, 2. Perfect. And like I said, you immediately kind of see what this second light is bringing in. And it really kind of separates when you're just using one light to going into two. It brings a little bit more of a professional feel to your shoots, brings a little bit more of curation to exactly what you're doing, and you're able to dial in exactly the shot that you want. This is gonna bring some separation from that background. It's gonna allow you to kind of play with your levels so you can decide what kind of contrast you want. But this is just two little ways that I like to use the cross lighting setup depending on the circumstance. All right, everyone, that's gonna do it for our first Tutorial Tuesday. Today we went over cross lighting in 2 different variations. Take this, use it, and tag me in whatever photos that you create. I would really love to see how you all take this setup and implement it into your own careers. If this is something you're interested in, trying to learn more about lighting, if you're seeing this video, then that means that the Master Studio Lighting bundle is out, which includes the Studio Flash playbook as well as the Constant Light playbook as well. So 24 different setups, gonna break them all down, visual behind the scenes. Go give it a check. It's going to be linked in the bio down below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next video.